I have to go ahead and kick this off. Sometimes you wonder where you're actually going to start a video. And today, I have a couple videos that I want to feature Marl Mountain points on, which is what you're looking at. Of course, the variety is from Central North Carolina, Eastern Central. If you just happen to click through here from another country or from somewhere in this country, these are what are well known as Marl Mountain points. And we're going to take a look at these close up. We have a rhyolite variety of flint, and then I just pull a handful of the quartz Marl Mountains. Just grab some, and I will make this comment as I go forward and have a couple other points to make here as we look at these. Of course, I have some political interest stuff that is important. It's unbelievable the things that are going on today. And I'm just going to keep going forward with a lot of positive feedback. I'd say 90%, 95% of all the feedback about the things that help us get thinking about important things in our lives. As Americans, it's so easy for us to take for granted freedom. I'll just give you one nation pops into mind right now. Used to be thriving within the last decade or so. Have you asked yourself about what's going on in Venezuela? And that's really not what I'm going to talk about today, but the effects of socialism on nations is a horrible thing. But I'm not going to be talking about that today. Take a look at these Marl Mountains. Take a couple seconds on each of them, and we move forward. Fantastic piece found at the cove right here. If I can get an honest focus on it. Never found another piece like that. Beautiful green rhyolite here. Found at the backside cove, which is a little area, another site. A hamlet, I like to call it, right next door to the cove. This piece, and the way they make them, this piece happens to be particularly thin, which a lot of people are interested in many times. Anyway, I would say 20% of all the points that I find are Marl Mountain points. Now that came from Mecca. Unbelievable piece right here. Don't know if I'll pick them all up, but some. So 20% of all the points that I find. So I figured I would do a couple features on Marl Mountains because to me there's such a common point. Common shape, common use. They're common here, for sure. But for all the fantastic showpieces that I sometimes feature, I found, 2, 3 times, 4 times this many of the same exact style, if you will. So as we go on, I'm sure it's 20%, if not more. Lots of Marl Mountains here, which is a good thing. Here's a point from the clay pot. Tan rhyolite. Now here's the comment I want to make. Now both videos, I'm going to split the two. There's going to be 2 comments. It's funny because I'm going to be dealing with comments. This video about the first comment is about the First Amendment. Next video, I'll probably have a comment about the Second Amendment. Listen, big deal. Not just those 2 prerequisites to begin the amendments, but the amendments to the Constitution of the United States have been written in to protect rights that we already have. Some of the government has been trying to convince people across the nation and world that these amendments in the United States Constitution are rights that they afforded us, or rights that they, through their clemency, allowed us to have, but that's a bunch of lies. As free people, the rights have been given to us by our Creator. We were born to be free. And that is what the United States of America represents. Look at this. This piece was a fun piece I found at The Rise. So as I just discussed that a little bit in light of censorship, because they may censor this for sure, I don't doubt it. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on, some rogue minority groups throughout the riddling of YouTube and Google and Yahoo and obscenely Facebook, but see, those are minority individuals. It doesn't matter to me or you whether or not they are the owners, but it's a small group. If you'd see the electoral map of the United States of America after the 2016 election, it's about blood red as you can get, the whole thing by county. There are some speckles of blue here or there in some of the urban areas, but that's it. Many people even listening are with me in the majority that believe in family. Working hard, getting paid for your money and reward. And if you work harder, you get bigger rewards. If you do and contribute more to society, you make more money. And we believe in a free society and leaving other folks alone, letting them live and choose the way they want to live in whatever lifestyle. Oh, I'm sorry, get carried away. Beaver Point. This is an absolutely awesome point, though. It's not as simple as it looks. Censorship issue that I'm talking about, and I just don't want to forget some of these points. The whole issue with some of the executives and backwards individuals throughout Facebook or Yahoo that want to ban or limit some excellent, decent individuals who happen to be conservative or pro-gun, which is not a bad word at all. You're supposed to be, if you're an American, pro-gun. I don't know how an American can be an American and not support being pro-gun. The whole term gun, I'm not going to get into that. Censorship issue. Their idea is to manipulate public opinion. Here's a great piece here. Sugar Quartz, found at Deer Pass. Sugar Quartz. Their whole idea of manipulating or trying to manipulate public opinion through censorship is to, of course, control how you think and will vote. Now, I thought to myself just yesterday and the day before and thinking through that, isn't that funny? They still don't even get it. For I bet you would agree with me and just make a note of it if you do. Look at that point. Sugar Quartz. Is that neither the internet nor social media convinced or persuaded me in any way which way I needed to vote. It was the principles and platform of that candidate, communicated clearly by him out on the beat, out on the street, studying his past, what he had propagated in the past, what he had discussed in the past that he wanted to do. Here's a great piece from The Cove. And so those are the real reasons that I voted. I doubt it, and I thought about my friends and everybody here and everybody that I know that voted for President Trump. What persuaded them, what convinced them the strongest was their friends, but not just communicating. Not at all communicating just on social media or internet. That did not persuade the landslide of people that voted to vote the way they did. And it was a huge block of older adults and everything that aren't even savvy to social media at all. Great group here. So think about that in terms of censorship. If they want to censor in order to control public opinion, they've missed it already. Because most people that show up to the polls now are going to be voting for freedom. Freedom first. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights rising as a storm of freedom across this nation, and that's the truth. That's just the bottom line. So, who I'm talking to, and many of you are just like that, and I know, even I've had older people. I brought my mother-in-law who really wanted to go and vote and couldn't get out, and so many older people come up and says, I've been so-and-so in this political party for years and years, and I need to go and vote for freedom, and they went and voted for Trump because there was a criminal on the other side. I won't say her name, and indictments are going to come, unfortunately, because I want all people to succeed. Look at these points. And we do. We want the best for all people. But since we are self-sufficient, look at this Quartz Marl Mountain from Notchville. And we want the best for everybody. We hate to see people go down, but when they're criminals and they won't stop and they hurt and kill, murder, manipulate, and lie to get political power, which is what they want over your life. Trust me, They got to go. And the American people who run this government, who employ this government, will see to it. Now that sounds really, really radical to some people who are used to being supported and think that the government's their daddy. This piece came from Crossland's great piece of quartz. But the tech giants don't understand what self-reliance and being self-sufficient really means. We are not dependent on the information they either censor or give on Facebook or what we see on YouTube or whatever. It's not about these videos. It's about what we know already because we're Americans. And that's the power of it. Here's a great point from Beaver Point, Site 5E. That is smoky quartz. It's great stuff. Here's a point, a little strawberry quartz tip from Deer Pass. And as I finish today, I mean, just really, the First Amendment is nothing to mess around with. And when they do that, or start pulling that crap here on YouTube or anywhere else, they're going to get bitten, because the American public and people in majority, a complete majority, not even close. We're not talking about 52%. We're not talking about 62%. We're talking about 70, 80, 90% are adamant about supporting the First Amendment and the freedom of our speech and the freedom to exchange ideas, to have a discussion without needing violence as the expression on the other side. Nice Marble Mountain right here, isn't it? It is smoky quartz there. Just unbelievable what they did with quartz. I mean, just look at these Marble Mountains in quartz. And the last one is a piece of sugar quartz found at Sun Hill. It's sort of a greenish jade sugar quartz. So that's enough, a mouthful today. Support any way you can, anything you can do to have a voice rise up in America about the First Amendment. Because the people that matter, they know. They have people that feed them information about what we're talking about, what we're doing. Listen, you don't do anything privately. Support, though. Great look at what Marble Mountains are about right here. And I got something special in this next video, so tune in. Hope you find out there. Just a great shot right there of Indian Trace. I love those 2 points. My word, right? Be well.